Welcome everybody to Open Door with Mike Oliver. Kind of doing a sound test right now to see if you can hear me and see how many people's in the room. So, well, there's one. Can you hear me? Hey Marilyn, can you hear me? Okay. Lisa. I'm gonna wait just a few minutes so we can get some more people in here. Hey Shannon. Can you hear me okay? Hey Aunt Pat, how are you? Jack and Diane. Okay, good. Hey Double S. All right, so we're going to start this in just a second. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Mission Barbecue. They're holding a special event tonight. I was invited, but I didn't know what was going on until just like a couple of hours ago. But thank you, Mission Barbecue, for everything that you've ever done for the Sheriff's Office and the K-9 team. So thanks a lot for what you do for Clarksville and Montgomery County. So the first question is, I have no idea.
Not yet.
No questions yet. Ask me anything. What's up, Chandler? Jessica? Marky Mark? Hey, Amy, how are you? This live feed is basically because there was some poor internet connections during the debate a couple of weeks ago. So a lot of people were not able to hear everything that was said. So we figured that we would do this live feed for people who have questions. You can pretty much ask me whatever you want. What are the first three? How do I get this back?
There you go.
This comes in from Chris Olson. What are the first three things you would change if elected? Several things. Hey Dwight, hey DJ. I appreciate you. Couple of things that need to change. First of all, we need to start recognizing our employees. They all have a tremendous worth to this community and to the office. That's one of the things. Of course, the staffing issues. Number one, got to get the staffing issue under control. The big thing with staffing is you can have every program in the world that you want to do. You can, the SROs, the patrol, the special units, the K-9, that's fine. But if you don't have the staffing to do it, it's really a moot point. So we've got to get the staffing issues. Once we get the staffing issues, I think we can concentrate on the SRO program, the different specialty teams, units. And the third thing, I've got to be able to trust my command staff. I want a command staff that's going to be there for me, that has my intentions are going to be their intentions. I want them to make sure that we have a sheriff's office, basically, that is a place to go to work like it's your first day. That's the feeling that I want our employees to have is that every day is their first day, and they enjoy coming. Jay Aber, I do not know. I know they got, I know they have, I think they have a couple in the academy now, or they just had some they just had a couple to graduate the academy. I'm not sure on patrol. I would have to find out. I really don't know that answer. I have a lot of first things that I want to change. One of them is making the employees feel appreciated. We've gone so long with the employees feeling like that, and this is one of the reasons why they're leaving so quickly is they just don't feel appreciated. They don't have enough to even take days off. I mean, most of those employees in the jail down there are working 6 and 7 days at a time. Patrol division is usually, from what I've seen, are kept up pretty good. I know there's some things that the patrol wants as far as 12-hour shifts and different things like that. And what I've heard is Busan has changed it now, and they're supposed to be going to a 12-hour shift, but I heard he changed it. And they're changing it back, so they've been given a date, then they took the date away, and from what I understand, they give them another date, but I'm not 100% sure of that. What's that? Oh, that was from Jack and Diane. Sorry. Shannon, what is planned and where to? What is planned and where to? What is that? Hold on just a second. I'm trying to. Hey Shannon, ask that question again. I didn't understand it. Hey Dewan, what's going on, man? I can't read it that small. Casey Bond says, how do you intend to address the SRO shortage given limited resources and an apparently unwilling county commission to provide needed funding? Well, we all know that the sheriff in the debate said that there is an SRO assigned to every school. That's true. There is one assigned. The problem is several of them have been taken out and put into middle school and or high school so that they can have I guess bulking up in the high school and the middle school, leaving the elementary schools unattended. So what I plan on doing is making sure, I know the county commission just approved for funding for 7 more SROs. Now, in 2014, 2015, he asked for and was given enough money to put an SRO in every school in Montgomery County. But he has not been able to maintain that. One, he took them out and put them in high schools to double up. 2, he assigned several SROs to other divisions in the office, mostly personnel. And the other ones are just not happy. They're leaving. Lack of leadership. It's just a lack of leadership for them down there. Christy Davis Zimmerman, can we make requests for certain changes? I mean, yeah, you can make requests for them, and if it's in the best interest of the office or in the community, then I'll absolutely entertain it. Oh, that's a big one. Yeah, and I touched on this that during the debate, Mike Blevins, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to read. How would you address the lack of community involvement at the sheriff's office? I touched on this in the debate. One of the things was I said we used to have a junior deputy program, which was a great program, and I got in on the tail end of it in my career. It was phased out during Norman Lewis, and We do have an Explorer program. I forgot about. We do have that, and the Explorer program doesn't end when they're 18. It actually ends when they're 21. It's a program designed to take kids, young adults, and basically groom them to get into law enforcement. That's what the Explorer program is for. I did touch on the JET program that the city has, which is a wonderful, wonderful program. I would love to have the sheriff's office more involved in community interactions. I think we owe it to the community because we just don't have that. And they deserve the same, I guess, the same attention that the city gives their youth. The county youth, they deserve it also. Jack and Dan, what was I saying? I mean, you got like 3 font here. Maybe I need my phone. What is it?
How do you plan to fix the staffing issues?
Oh, how do I plan to fix staffing issues, Jack and Dan? Well, there's several people that I've talked to over the years to figure out, and I've said this before. Me and a friend of mine, we discussed this for years about why we were short. I started noticing it about 3 or 4 years ago. I always said it was money. He said no, it's leadership problems, and I said no, it's not. And come to find out, after I started talking to a lot of people, it is more leadership than it is money. People will stay and work for somebody for less money if that leader, that supervisor, if they like them, if they help them, if they acknowledge the work that the employee's doing. Because to be honest with you, it makes them look better. When I was in K-9, it was my job to make sure that my team had everything that they need to complete the mission. They had the training, the knowledge, they had the equipment. Same as when I was in SVU. It was my job to protect my employees, my men and women that work for me, investigators. Make sure that they had the tools they needed to do the job. Make sure they needed the education. They needed the anything that they needed to complete their job. That was my job. We have to do that for the staffing. We have to make it, what's the word? Enticing, because we know that law enforcement is not looked at like it used to be 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. It's not looked the same. It's not looked at the same. So a lot of people are going to other jobs, factory jobs. They feel like the media is not behind them, and that's true. It's not. I still think it's a noble profession, and I always will. That's why I was in it. That's why I'm trying to be the sheriff. It's not because of power. It's not because of status quo. And everybody knows I'm not a politician. I'm not. I'm a cop. That's all I've ever been. That's all I've ever wanted to be. If we could take the politics out of the sheriff's office, it'd make me a whole lot happier, and maybe fill out a resume and have some people take a test or whatever. That's what I would like for it to be, but it is a political position. You get very little politics with me. Lord knows I'm not a politician. I don't know how to be.
You want me to read it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Shannon Travis, you made a comment on the debate, but he interrupted you about retiring. Did he make that decision or made you do it quickly, or was I hearing that correctly?
No. He said it. I did leave. I planned on staying until the election, but the way this started out, when he found out about it, I told him I wasn't sure, and I told him I'd let him know when I was sure. I talked to my family. I made sure this is what we were going to do, so I went and told him. And he tried to intimidate me with a couple of statements, which didn't work. I went back home and I told my wife, I said, listen, I'm going to stay here until January 1st when the new bridge bill covered jail employee time. As soon as that happened, and I told my wife, I said, as soon as that happens, I'm retiring. So January 31st, I got my retirement the way I wanted it, and that's when I left. There's no way I could stay there and work for him and run against him. Not with some of the things that his command staff has done to the employees down there. Just no way I could do it.
Marty Baker, training issues.
Big topic. I think we've got some really good instructors down there. Do we need more? I think that's one of the biggest things is we need more instructors because of the amount of jail employees, the amount of enforcement employees, and it's hard for, I don't know, I think there's 4 or 5, maybe 6 instructors that's covering almost 400 people down there. It's pretty hard. I know there's some training issues. I know that, Marty. We've got some things that we could work on in the training division, and I plan on making sure that I think that what I think in the training part, what I think could be better is what I plan on attacking first, because we know that training is the backbone, or is not the back. That's the wrong word. You got to have the right training to do the job. It's just like with anything else, you got to have the right tools. If you don't have the right training, then you got people out there who are going to make mistakes and costly mistakes. So,
Dewan Little, would you be a constant presence in the department?
Oh yes, Lord, yes. I'm not a desk person per se. My last job was basically a desk job. I'm not going to say that I'm going to be out on the road like my man Frankie Gray, a great sheriff. He is out on the road every day, but I do plan on being out there, being in the office, the jail. In my last 3 years, I visited everybody I could almost daily. People can attest to that when I would come and see them and talk to them and to see how things were going. So, yeah, I'm definitely a person that wants to make sure that everything's running good, and if there's any problems, see if I can address them. I'm not going to have a closed door. The 5th floor will not be closed. You will not have to make an appointment to come up there and talk to me. I promise you that. It will be open for anybody that needs to come see me.
Donna Dallas, what was the reason you decided to run for sheriff?
Well, this started back in the 90s at a canine event, and I mentioned it once before, and I was hired by Billy Smith, and he was just a larger-than-life sheriff, and I love the community. I love helping people. I love helping the office. It was our job once you become a supervisor to help the younger employees. Make sure they're going down the right path. Don't make the mistakes that we made. Make sure that they go down that right path. Make sure they're tutored and instructed right. So, and I just love the community. I mean, my canine years, I did hundreds of demos with all the kids out there. Hot, didn't matter. It was cold, hot. We were out there with the dogs. I just love working with the community, and that's something that this administration under Fuson does not have. They're not out there with the community. Just not out there.
Shannon Travis, other than the snake in charge now, who else and what else do you plan to clean up and clean them out? Go ahead, please be blunt. Please be blunt. Excuse me.
Well, Shannon, I don't want to. Let me tell you this. I will tell you this, that there will be some restructuring. So I'll leave it at that. I don't want to put out on here what I'm going to do. I do have a plan, but it's going to have some restructuring, yes.
Philip Arthur Snyder, As sheriff, would you take care of the employees that have been looked over for promotions because of race or gender?
Yeah. And let me tell you, I went up, everybody knows this is not a secret. I went up for promotion 3 times in investigations. I was be blunt with you. I knew I wasn't going to get it. Nothing against me or the other candidates. I knew I wasn't going to get it, but I wasn't going to let them have it. What I was looking for was a transfer. I was already a sergeant, and I was looking for a transfer. I did it 3 times, didn't make it. The 4th time that the position come open, I didn't put in for it. Fuson called me up to his office and said, well, I know you put in for it before, and you put in for it this time. And I said, no, I didn't. I didn't put in for it the 4th time. He said, you didn't? I said, no. I said, you didn't want to hire me the other 3 times, so I didn't want to waste my time. And that's when he put me in investigations as a supervisor there. So, yes, I will not. I've been on the brunt. I've been there when guys try to, they call it a promotion coming from the jail to the road, but it's actually a transfer. I was there when 2 guys, Tyler Lucky and Brandon Thies, scored really high, I thought, and thought they should be given a shot on the road, and they were denied because they were in the National Guard. I mean, they were discriminated because of that. So, absolutely, I can't stand it. There's got to be a better program, than what they have now. And I've been right in the middle of the program that they have now. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining in. This is Mike Oliver, Open Door. Thank you for joining in, taking up your time with me and asking questions about me and my 30 years at the sheriff's office. So if you got a question, I'll do my best to answer the best I can. I hope that answered you, Dewan. We've got to do it. We've got to have a better system. Let's put it that way. It's got to be better than what it is. So yes, I will definitely be working on that.
Sarah Lucky. I've heard a lot of deputies not even really knowing or interacting with the current sheriff. How would you interact more with your employees to help morale and leadership?
I've seen, as I go today walking around, I try to meet everybody, especially, the jail people. I started at the jail. I worked there for 12 years. I know how it's been. I served under 3 sheriffs and all 3 administrations who looked at the jail as second class and used it as punishment. That's something you will never, ever hear me use a term that, like they did, well, I'll just put you on midnights in the jail. I always tried to meet everybody that I could, introduce myself to them, not because I was running for sheriff. That was one of the reasons. But the other reason is just because I like to know who works for the sheriff's office. There's some down there I still don't know. But I can promise you, I know more than John Fuson does. Guarantee it.
Chris Olson. I know the command staff at the sheriff's office does not attend the same active shooter training as the deputies. This proved to be an issue at the Uvalde incident where the decision makers on scene did not know the concepts and principles of active shooter mitigation. Do you plan on continuing the practice of separate in-service training between deputies and command staff?
Oh, absolutely. And I can tell you another thing, though. When I do win this election, the command staff is going to go to our regular in-service. There's no reason why they shouldn't go to our in-service. If we have to go through it, then they should have to go through it. And from my understanding, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know that they even do active shooter in the schools anymore. I don't think they do, but I'll have to check on that. But they definitely will when I take over office, because I think it was some great training. Sometimes it was a little rough, but it's definitely something that we need and more of it.
Scotty Hugh. How would you improve the working relationship between the city and county law enforcement agencies?
It's we've always had a saying that the city and county didn't get along, but to be honest with you, the sergeants and the deputies and most lieutenants, we all had a really good relationship with the city. We could work together, and I did on many occasions. I helped them out a lot with canine stuff, investigation. I work with them a lot. It always seemed like the higher command staff is the ones that did not get along. And it was not always the city not getting along with the county. It wasn't always the county not getting along with the city. But it was the higher ups that really didn't get along with each other. That was my impression.
Brandon Thies, how do you feel about prior service members and current reserve military members working for your agency? And would their continued service affect their ability to move throughout the agency?
No, I mean, and it's like I mentioned earlier, when you tried to get a transfer, I spoke highly of you. You were denied. Now I said why you were denied, because at that time, the lieutenant that was in patrol didn't want you because you were in the Guard. And I voiced my opinion, but it didn't matter. I have no problem with the ex-military. A lot of times they're the guys and girls that are more structured. They take orders a lot better than somebody who hasn't been in the military. Sometimes, not everybody, because I wasn't ever in the military. But I always knew my place. I knew a sergeant was a sergeant, a lieutenant was a lieutenant, and a captain was a captain, and so forth. I knew that, and I had no problem with it. Sometimes some of them do a little bit every now and then.
Philip Arthur Snyder, are you going to have your own command staff or keep the ones that are in place?
Thanks, Philip. There's going to be some reconstruction. Okay, I'm not going to say that I'm going to fire anybody or keep everybody. It's just there's going to be some reconstruction. I'll leave it at that.
Lisa Marie, other facilities within the Sheriff's Department get recognized for their hard work. Do you plan on including the jail employees in this as well?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that really, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's my live feed. I can say what I want. The day that J.R. Kelly was retiring, I seen some people coming in on the second floor. I didn't know who they were. I greeted them, told them how you doing, whatever, and went on about my day. Come back about 30 minutes later, I was doing something, and I was told that it was his retirement party. And I said, well, why didn't we have an email? Well, I was told that different people with different years of service have different retirement processes. And I thought, you know what? Why? When you retire, you retire. Why not give the man's peers the chance to come and say goodbye? I don't know if it's because they had to buy a bigger cake or they had more people that was going to, I don't know. But absolutely, like I said, you'll never hear me. And that's one of the problems that they've always done, is they've always segregated the jail and enforcement. They've always done that. Everybody has. That I've been down there. And me being down there 12 years, I resented it because I did the same work, maybe just a little bit different. I got paid the same. I had the same commission. There was only a couple things I couldn't do that a regular road patrol could do. So, absolutely, I'm going to do my best to get that stigma out of there, because that's just simply, it's a morale killer. I mean, if you're in the jail and you think you're second class to anybody else, what does that do? What does that do for them? I hate it. I've hated that the 30-something years that's always been a thought, a real thing down there. I hate it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got off on something there.
Dawn Little, what are your plans to address leadership issues? How would you address constant leadership complaints?
Well, I think the leadership is going to have to come. Well, I think my command staff will be ones that I can trust and make sure that the other supervisors are addressing problems from their subordinates and then their subordinates. If somebody has a problem at home, we need to address it. When I was in canine. I ask my guys constantly, you know, do they need any EAP help? Ask them about their personal lives. Is everything okay in their personal lives? To make sure that there was nothing going on. You know, in investigations, I asked them, you know, is there anything going on? Making sure they're all right. But I think every supervisor has a job to make sure the ones underneath them are taking care of their employees, all the way down to the deputies, all the way down to everyone. You got to have the leader. My leaders are going to have their leaders, and then their leaders are going to have the ones underneath them to take care of. I think that's the best way to do it. I don't know if I answered that right, but
I think you did. In response, this is a reply to Chris Olson's question earlier about active shooter training. Additionally, why has the sheriff's office stopped providing active shooter training to school employees and citizens? The sheriff's office does have certified trainers, and that's per Michael Blevins.
Yeah. I don't know. I know my wife, who is a teacher at Burke, she said the last active shooter training she had was put on by the city. And I was kind of put back by that also because I thought, you know, the sheriff's office was still doing it, to be honest with you. But I have found out since then that they're not. I don't know if it's a lack of instructors to do it. I don't know. But it's something I'll definitely find out.
Dwan Little, there is constant fear of retaliation for talking to the sheriff. How would you address this?
Like I said, my door is going to be open. You know, I don't know if he knows everything that's going on down there. I really don't. I had no problem speaking to him. I was short, so the closed door policy, it didn't faze me from going up there one way or the other. But a lot of people just did not approach him. I mean, I knew what was coming down the pipe for me, so I had no problem talking to him about whatever I need to talk to him about. So, but that's one of the things that I'll definitely, I promise you, it'll be an open door policy. Won't nobody have to make an appointment to come see me at all, or any of my command staff.
Britannia Trunchbull, what is your plan for the plaza? Will it be a multiple person position like it was before?
Well, I tell you, you know, at first, because I was in charge of that place over there, and when we first, not when we first, but anyway, I ended up being a supervisor over there. I don't know how. So anyway, if you think about it, that plaza over there has all of our medical records. It takes in millions of dollars through the trustee's office. All of the money through driver's license or registration. It has all of our IT stuff, so it's a pretty important place. Plus, at any given day, that one square, however big that is, has the most elected officials in Montgomery County at one time during any part of the week. I mean, there's more there than anywhere at any given time. So I think it's a pretty important place. And if we didn't get two over there, if we had the need, I know I did the stats for it when I was there of how many actual calls that we have. I'm not sure that it would warrant more than one, but if it did, I'd do everything I could to supply that place with another one. If the stats showed it. So, I know we used to have two, but I'm not so sure what happened. I'm not sure what happened to it.
Jack, Erica, can we come to the 5th floor to play ball with Lynx when you get sheriff? Agree.
I hope so. If old Lynx is still alive, he's getting to be an old man now. You have to ask Zach Fortner that also.
Michael Blevins, will you have an open door policy?
Oh, absolutely. I remember Billy and Norma Lewis. If their door was open, you could come in and talk to them about anything. Now, if the door was shut, probably they had something going on. You need to stay away. But their door, if it was open, there was no problem going in there and talking to them, and mine will also. And that includes the front door to the foyer.
Philip Snyder, how are you going to make the jail employees feel like they are an important part of the sheriff's office also?
I think that just their recognition is going to go a long way. I want to get with some of my command staff to figure out different initiatives that, different things. I don't want to say on here, but I have a couple of things, like a jail deputy of the year. 30-something years, I don't think I've ever had one. Maybe give some type of little thing for being the jail deputy of the year. Just anything like that to help morale. Give them days off. Make sure that the supervisors down there are taking care of their employees, making sure that, they give them the time off that they need. And if we have to get them all the way from the top down to go in there and help them out, then that's what we'll have to do.
Philip Snyder. Oh, sorry, already did that. Alexis Goins. I'm curious about how you feel about the recent death in the river at Billy Dunlop Park, and if you believe proper precautions are being made to prevent future incidents.
I know that there was a young fellow passed away, but I'm not sure of the reasons. What transpired, I don't know. I can't speak on it because I really don't know what happened.
Stephanie Blevins. Yesterday we passed a man in a wheelchair on the side of Providence Boulevard. To me, he looked like he was in distress. A SO unit was beside us and passed him too, but didn't stop. Would you encourage your deputies to stop and check on people like this?
Oh yeah, it's part of being a public servant. I'm 100% public servant. I'm 99% public servant. I say I'm 1% politician, so that I can get in this realm of politics. You get 1%, the rest is public servant. I don't want to go in here and just say what I did. I don't want to be I did this and a me done that and this and that and the other. But I've got my fair share of mail out of elderly people's mailboxes. I've helped the elderly do this. I've helped children. I've done all that. I probably could have done more. Wished I'd have done more, but I did it.
Angela Pruitt. In addition to Philip's question, to help with morale and help all employees get to know each other, would you consider bringing back the Family Employee Picnic Day?
That would be great. That would definitely be great, because now I think they only have a Thanksgiving and a Christmas dinner, or a Christmas lunch and a Thanksgiving lunch. That's all they have. I don't know if maybe one big one could be done, or maybe several small ones, but definitely anything that would bring the employees together, the command staff together, and the community together. How could you not be for that?
Megan Lanham. How would you address a concern from an employee when they bring to your attention that your command staff is bullying and intentionally causing unnecessary stress in the workplace?
Yeah, there's one thing I can't stand, is a bully and intimidator. To me, that's I can't say what I want to say, but definitely that goes on down there. There's a lot of bullying and there's a lot of intimidation down there. It was done to me over the years, and I can't stand it. It was done to me while I was in my last years there under Fuson. He tried to intimidate me when I told him I was going to run for sheriff. I can't stand it, and I won't tolerate it. Not at all.
Tori Chalk. With the number of open positions in your department rising, what is your plan to fill those so there is an adequate staffing?
Well, there's, some of the people that I've talked to that left prematurely, I've asked them would they come back, and there's several that said they would, and I think they were good employees. Why not give them a shot? There's a lot of things that go on in that sheriff's office, and most of these people on this live feed are ones that worked there before. And I don't know, I can't see everybody that's on here. There's some that haven't worked there, but there's a lot of things that happen and go on down there, and it's the reason why people leave. Whether it be harassing stuff. Whether it be not giving days off, there's several things, several reasons, and I know about them. I know about a lot of them, and I think that's where my command staff will be able to make sure that the people who work under them, and then the snowball effect down now, hopefully we'll be able to take care of those morale issues, and I think that's what it is, a morale issue.
Chris Olson, I know that supervisors evaluate their subordinates. Would you allow a program where the subordinates evaluate their supervisors to give you a view of how effective your leaders are?
Yes. The only problem is, will they do it? Because, in the FTO program, I talked to a lot of people. Of course, I didn't have anything to do with the FTO program, but I did listen to the deputies afterwards talk about, they were afraid to say anything about their FTO because they didn't want them to give them bad reviews or anything like that, and that should never be the case. If we expect our young deputies to take criticism on how to do their job, then we too should be able to take the criticism on how to be more effective and a better leader than what we are. It goes two ways. It goes both ways.
Susan Swift Williams. You probably covered this earlier, but I just tuned in. I think you said you worked for the MCSO for 12 years. Where are you currently employed? Thanks.
No, I worked in the jail for 12 years. I recently retired with almost 32 in January.
Shannon Farrell. Will you please go on recited for other owners and say that you will look into the bogus tow contract currently in place that, as stated by current sheriff, they agree to tow MCSO vehicles for free. So in return, MCSO gives them the business for DUI and accidents, etc.
Yeah, I don't know how we got into only using one tow company, and that was done many years ago. One of the things I have learned about the county is they have a lot of checks and balances to make sure money flows correctly, how it's spent, and how many signatures have to be placed on a piece of paper to get that money flowing. I don't have a problem with a rotating list. Yes, it'll be more work on our office, but I think it gives back to the community and to the small business owners a little better working relationship between the sheriff's office and those companies. So yes, I will definitely look into that for sure.
Brandon Thies. For promotions throughout the agency, promotion boards have been conducted by others from other divisions who have never had physical contact with those being interviewed for the position, thus not knowing the physical and mental abilities or leadership qualities of those being interviewed for the position. Is this something you will continue, or do you have a different structure in mind that may better your shifts and sections?
Definitely got a better one in mind. People don't like constructive criticism. I don't like it. I don't know that anybody that likes constructive criticism, but it's a part of what we need to learn and grow. I was on the end where sometimes we were looking for the best that we needed up in CI or K9, and we were given evaluations from people who gave high scores basically so they could get rid of them because they didn't want them anymore. That's the honest truth. I know it's cold. It may hurt some feelings, but that's what happened. I don't like it. If a person is that bad, then maybe you as a supervisor or their supervisor, maybe you probably need to look at the way you're supervising. Hey everybody, it's me, Mike Oliver, Open Door. So if you're just tuning in, thank you for coming. If you have a question, send it to me and I'm going to answer it the best I can.
Lisa Marie, will you go back to having new hires work the jail before being able to move to other departments, not to include the ones that are coming in already post-certified?
So, excuse me. So here's the thing, you have a skill set when you're post-certified that can be used at a different area of law enforcement. I think the sheriff said that Fuson said that he only hires from the jail to patrol. And I said it during the debate, that's simply not true. That is absolutely not true. Because he hires from other places, people that have not been post-certified, that do not have anything other than they come from somewhere else. We have to staff the jail. That has to be staffed. But what the problem was, they were told sometimes that, hey, you spend X amount of months here, then you can move to patrol. And then when somebody from wherever gets hired on patrol, or leaves a bad taste in their mouth, well, then they get upset about it in the detention part, and it just leaves a bad taste in their mouth. We have to man the jail. We have to. To be honest with you, I had to wait 12 years. I didn't want to wait 12 years, but I did. If a person comes in and they want a job bad enough, and the only opening that we have is in the jail, then they're going to take it. Or if the only opening we have is in the courts, then they'll have to take it if they want it. So I'm not going to hire strictly from the jail to patrol. No. There's going to be times where somebody has a certain skill set that would be better in the courthouse or better in the jail, but I will not ever let that person in the jail lose hope that they've been there 10 years and they've been waiting on a spot. It's not fair to them. So I would rather have that 10-year employee get that spot that they've been waiting for 10 years. I'd rather give it to them than get somebody right off the street because they know somebody who knows somebody. So I hope that answers your question.
Kimberly Ray, past employees that have been fired for wrongdoing have made it known that if you are elected into office, that you are planning to wipe all slates clean and hire them back. You do not like intimidation, but how do you feel about your deputies doing so to others because of the role they hold?
Well, I don't know that I've said anybody that was fired for wrongdoing. Well, yes, there was. There was one. There's one guy that I think he was fired, and I don't think he should have been fired. And when I get this position, if he wants to apply, and if he passes all the requirements, then I'd love to have him back. But if somebody was fired for a criminal act, that's a different ball game. That's a completely different animal. You have to be very careful about that if somebody was fired because of a criminal act. So somebody was fired because of the administration or whatever, it would be a case-by-case situation on all those.
Tori Little, in regards to maternity leave, how could we address the time taken by expecting mothers? As of now, you only get the amount of time that you've saved up, which is typically capped for jail employees. For For newer employees, that this is impossible, as they are expecting us to be gone without pay. It didn't used to be this way, as now it feels nobody cares. Would this lack of support be addressed?
Well, when my son was born, I actually took the maximum amount of time, which was 16 weeks. And that's, I think the county gives 12 weeks, or no, federal gets 12 weeks and then the county gives an extra 4? I think that's what it is. Federal law says 12 weeks and then the county gives an extra 4. So my wife was pregnant down there with our first child. She was gone with the second, but I took the maternity leave because I had the time to take off. The thing about the maternity leave, if you don't have a donor for it, if you don't have enough to cover those 16 weeks, then the time has to come from somebody, which is usually somebody donating time. I don't know if that's done a lot anymore. But then again, you have to look at some people who abuse sick time, or they use a lot of sick time. My wife didn't have a lot of sick time. She didn't abuse it. She was the one that didn't abuse it. She had a OJI claim that she had to use all of her time, and then I gave her a lot of my time. But then some people just run out of sick time and don't have it, and that's where the donations come in, and hopefully there are people that will try to cover that. I would support it and do everything I could, because it's hard enough as it is having a baby. I don't know what the women go through, but I know what the men go through. I know it's tough. So I think it's the third one. I don't know if I really answered it correctly.
She can also contact you.
Yes,
Anyone can contact for further information.
320-2730.
Todd Devers. We need to get a handle on speeding on county roads, especially on 149 and Highway 13. Both are racetracks. What would be a priority?
From my understanding, the Fuson has disbanded a crime suppression unit right now, and it's made it a traffic unit, which we've all had traffic units. We've always had a traffic unit for years, and all deputies do traffic. They write citations, speeding, stop signs, any type of traffic violation a deputy can and should be enforcing. I know a lot of times when people will call in about a complaint, we would try to concentrate in that area to make sure that we maybe suppressed it and do the best. The other thing is the shortage of personnel is going to limit that, and the time of day. Day shift, they have their things that they do. Evening shift has always been the busiest shift, and then midnights, they're busy up to a certain point, then kind of slacks off early in the morning. So I do my best to make sure if we do have complaints, and our traffic unit would maybe concentrate those areas and maybe slow that down quite a bit to where it's manageable for the citizens out there, because I understand, nobody wants to have to worry about their kids getting run over. But that's been an issue for a long time. We just need to make sure, I need to make sure that we have the personnel that can address those issues.
Okay. Alyssa Lewis said, I accidentally skipped her question, so I'm going to find that question while you're answering this next one. Megan Lanham, in the earlier debate you had with Fuson, he stated that he was successfully voted for. I'm curious, did he run opposed in any of those elections? What he done was he was a county commissioner, and he applied for, when Norman Lewis died, he applied for the an appointment. I actually had a thought about applying for that appointment at the time. The problem was it was 12 years ago, and I needed my retirement, and I didn't know what the future would hold if I didn't get it.
So I held off because I knew that I was going to run. He was appointed 2 years later. Well, there was 2 years left on Norman Lewis's term. So after those 2 years, his first election, he ran against Dexter Munns, he ran against Tyler Barrett, and Brett Murray, which he won that race. The next election, which was 4 years ago, he was unopposed.
Okay. Sorry. Give me a second.
She's slow.
Wow.
Was there that many questions?
I was trying, Alyssa, I can't find your question, so if you could please just ask it again and we'll get to it. Sorry.
What I'd like to do is thank all the supporters I've got out there, my team members, my family. I could not do this without y'all. I mean, Caitlin, Marcy, Jack, Diane, Trey, Boo Boo, Debbie. I mean, everybody that stood by me, Cody, Kelly Joe. I couldn't do this without them. I am indebted in the worst way to these people to keep me going in this race. It's a lot of work on me, but it's a ton of work on them. And thank you. And we're gonna win this thing.
All right.
Did you send it?
Not yet.
Okay. You got me running out of things to say here.
No, you got, okay. So, Megan Lanham.
So, Steve Giles.
Is it true that Fuson was first elected sheriff by the county commission while he was an active member of the county commission?
He was not elected. He was appointed. He was the county commissioner. He was appointed as to sheriff, so he had to relinquish his county commission seat, which was I don't know if he won it or he was appointed was Brandon Butts, who is now still the county commissioner for that zone.
As a former employee, I noticed over time Sheriff Fuson seemed to start spending more time away with things. Oh, sorry, and this is Christine Anzio? I need to ask her what that is. Anyway, as a former employee, I noticed over time Sheriff Fuson seemed to start spending more time away with things not necessarily county related. State sheriffs as example. Should you be elected, what do you see in the longevity of your tenure? Do you have aspirations beyond the chair of MC Sheriff?
I think she may be talking about
his outside
President.
Organizations and involvement, maybe?
I'm not sure about. I don't know what his outside organizations are, to be honest with you. I know he was the president of the TSA for a little while. And to be honest with you, quite frankly, I think he forgot what it was to be a public servant. He's a politician. I think that's the biggest problem I see with him. Some may disagree with me. There's employees in that sheriff's office never even met him. Some of them that were sworn in by Chief John Smith, they've never met the sheriff. And that's pretty sad.
Stephanie Blevins, will you patrol on midnight shifts with your guys?
I plan on working, going out with all the people, all the shifts. It doesn't matter whether it's midnights or days or evening shift. Like I said earlier, I won't be out there every day, every night, every shift. But me and my command staff will spend some time with the troops out there. I think once you lose maybe that sight of law enforcement, you lose your perspective of what it is and what those guys are what guys and girls are going through. So they better be planning on working some other shifts.
Okay, this is what Alyssa was referring to earlier. Better traffic infraction policy. I was allegedly clocked doing 24 over the speed limit, but the dash cam wasn't initiated until too much time had passed for me to prove there was another vehicle. Cameras should be initiated immediately.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, the camera system is set up to where I thought the last time I was on patrol, the control boxes had 3 different settings: off, rear, or there's 3 different settings. And usually when they hit the second setting, which is the lights, the cameras turn on. They used to have it on the 3rd setting, but I think they switched it to the 2nd setting, which come on as soon as you turn lights on. So they should be on. They should be coming on now. Whether they're going to show your speed in that camera, I don't think they have the camera system for that, that shows the speed. I don't know. So, but their cameras should be working for that. I don't know what your particular situation was, but it would be something I'd have to look at. I'm not sure.
Jacob Kevins, what is your plans for the current pay scale, and what is your plan to clean up the good old boy system?
Well, Jim Durrett, Mayor Durrett, is the one that has initiated every pay increase scale that I know of since I've been there. Well, Billy Smith started one and it was dismissed or whatever, it was a lawsuit. But Mayor Durrett is the one that has initiated every pay scale that I know of. He's the one that initiated our retirement system, the bridge bill. I like the bridge bill. I know some employees are older than I am that it affects negatively, but for the whole department or the whole office, I think it's a good move. And trust me, it's more money in my retirement than I would have gotten before. I think it's a good thing. I now feel bad for the ones that are negatively affected by that, but there's some things that he could do probably if he pushed hard enough for it. Maybe do some part-time stuff for him, and that was discussed. But from what I understand, he has not, or it's been taken off the table and not given in the budget this year. And I forgot the other part of that question. What is it?
What is your plans for the current pay scale, and what is your plans to clean up the good old boys?
So the pay scale is being done. There's a new one that being done by the mayor. So he done the last couple. Sheriff Fuson has never initiated one. I think he's piggybacked off of them and agreed with them and went along with it and started all the studying for it, but he's never come up and said, hey, my guys need a raise. They need to be paid competitively like anybody else. The good old boys, the good old boy system is, it's alive and well. And I think Shedrick Webster said it best when he referred to the command staff that Fuson has as cronyism, based off cronyism. And I guess you could call it good old boy too. I know I'm not going to make some people happy with that one, but it's the truth.
Okay. J.A. Brum and Alyssa Lewis also asked about the good old boy system, which you just answered. So it is already 7:30. So do you want to do one more?
Yes.
Okay. So the next one, Jacob Kevins. And do you plan on, as sheriff, being out with your guys from the jail, patrol on up to CI?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got to get with them. Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things, like I said, there's a lot of people down there in the jail that's never met the sheriff. And that was one of the questions in the debate. Would I go up and spend time with them and go out and spend time with them? And I said, absolutely, I'll make time. I was balked at it. I was balked at for that. But we're not all that busy. We can all do better.
Okay.
So
You have a lot more questions, so maybe we can try this again if you want. But
Y'all want it again? Show me some thumbs up if you want another one. You know I'm not a great speaker. Everybody knows that, so.
lots of thumbs up. It
Oh,
hurts.
okay. Okay. How about next Thursday? Same time? Dang, that is a lot of. Oh wow. Okay. Next Thursday, 6:30. Same channel. Somebody just pulled in. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope I've answered some questions correctly for you. Some of them, it's just going to be hard for me to answer on this forum. But if you'll vote me in for sheriff, you'll see what I'm going to do. I appreciate everybody's support. And remember, July 15th, the early voting starts till July 30th. There's actually 2 voting polls now, or voting stations. One is at the Outlawville Airport, and then, of course, downtown at the Election Commission. So, see y'all July 15th through the 30th.